We are.
Okay, so.
Oh, no. Are we
No,
good?
wait a minute, hold on.
I didn't mean.
Is Amy? She wants
Yeah,
to-
she has a question.
Okay. Good morning. We've started the meeting, and Glenn is on vacation today, so he is not going to present a report. Amy is here to,
So the question about reserve accounts, is that it?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, because it's
It's
being-
recorded.
I feel like it's,
no, it's good. You just get zapped when you sit in it if you're not Glenn.
he's gonna text me now.
That is.
There's a question about the school reserve accounts that we created with the budget process. The language in the council orders was the establishment of, and we are already in need of expending some of the reserve accounts rather than tapping our local budget, which is so tight. And so there's a question about, does the establishment of the reserve accounts give us the authority to expend, or do we need more council orders to be given permission to expend? Because we're in some tight timelines to get some stuff done.
Your orders that we passed didn't include this expenditure, it just included the,
Establishment of,
Expend.
I went back and looked up the language, and it's just establishment of, it doesn't say expend.
yeah, you do need to have.
So the question is, I'm assuming the full council needs to approve expenditure of? Okay, so we have to wait
That's
another,
what, that was what I heard.
so we'd have to wait another month.
Or have a special meeting.
Okay, when's the next scheduled?
September
Well,
18th.
the agenda's already closed for that one.
Why is it closed so early? I thought it was the,
So,
For September 18th,
September's
it's
not
already
closed.
closed.
no, August.
August is closed, because the paper comes out once a week.
so you need
Right,
to
but
spend
usually
that
it's that
immediately though,
Monday.
right?
It's
So
gotta
it's
be in
kind of
by,
a-
Should have been
Would you
made
term it
today.
an
Why,
emergency?
was it, yeah.
Yes,
I-
it used to be in the
Yes.
Friday.
I mean, we've had some
Ask the
facility
clerk. 10
stuff come
days
up
before.
that,
ask the clerk.
and we've had a bus accident and need to replace a bus.
Oh, was everyone okay?
Oh, yeah, we've had 2 this summer. So,
we have a workshop
Make it a
Monday.
point not to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Um,
Try to make it a point
If
not
it's,
to deal with
given
it.
the nature of it, it's an emergency,
Mhm.
I could call an emergency meeting. There's no notice requirements for an emergency meeting.
Yeah,
And we could just, on Monday, take action, because the action we're taking is just to clean up the language of the budget. We don't have control over the budget to begin with, the school budget, so it's just to clean up that language to add the language that, the authorization to expend the reserve accounts. And, because if you need to spend it,
yeah.
that's an emergency
Yeah.
situation, and
it's really just amending that council order.
So you could do an emergency meeting prior to the workshop, like we do sometimes, is we have a school board meeting business prior to a school board workshop.
So are we holding up the purchase of the bus?
Yeah, I mean, I have a facilities and committee meeting on Monday, and we want to talk about the bus, and we want to talk about some of the facilities stuff. Because everything for facilities that we got quotes for this spring, and that we're acting on now, everything is over.
I'm sure it is, yeah.
And so, there's only, our budget is so tight, we can't withstand too many overages. And so, some projects, we're paying the overage, but now we're getting to a point where we would need to tap into the reserve for the facilities account. And then we want to utilize the transportation reserve and then the HCTC reserve. We want to get a project done on HCTC. And all the county superintendents had approved us using the reserve for that particular project. But we've hit pause because we knew we didn't have the language to expend. So we've used the local budget for everything we can, knowing
Yeah.
that we didn't have the language, but now we need to use reserves.
I just don't know, because we're not, I don't know if that's an emergency meeting, because we're not holding up anything. You know what I mean?
Well, we can't create the POs to show the vendors that we're committed to the project.
I mean, you could, just using the local for the PO, and then when it comes around to,
Refund your.
you
Do it
could
that
refund
way.
yourself, yeah. I mean, no one's gonna tell you can't spend your reserves, so I mean, it's
Right.
just, it's not like really taking a chance.
Right.
But I would, I just don't think that that's an emergency meeting. Because you're only talking still, you're not purchasing yet, you're only talking Monday.
Well, we're getting approval, we want to act, yeah. We
Yeah.
want to get stuff ordered and on the docket and on the calendar to be done.
Yeah.
And the bus, yeah.
So I would agree with that in terms of if it's not gonna hold you up, because you can, you're gonna do the work, so you can go through all the processes of-
Okay.
of bidding
All right.
or whatever it is that you're doing.
We'll
Yeah.
just make sure
Get
it's
that,
in.
and then we'll amend that language.
Okay, so September 18th would be the evening.
Whatever the third Monday is, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I'll find it.
Yeah.
So if
I'm
we
sorry,
can-
I just don't think, you know.
So if we can make sure I'm on the agenda.
Yeah,
So the other thing you could do is talk to the auditor and see if that would gig us if they didn't get approval, you know what I mean? What
Oh,
would happen if, because they probably know, like, the establishment of, does that include? So I just remember, like, here's the issue, is like, we don't actually have that cash set in our actual capital reserve account like we've done in the past. Like, we would send the money to the bank, they would hold it for us in our investments, but that hasn't been done yet either. So.
I guess I don't understand what that means. What do you mean?
So when the reserves were created, at least this is how I did it in the past, I would have the school, it would be a check that we actually sent to Bar Harbor Bank.
Yeah.
And Bar Harbor Trust, and they held the money there, but that hasn't been done yet, so.
Yeah, but it's still money that's been set aside for
Right, right,
reserve.
right.
So even if it's not at the bank, it's still reserve money.
Yeah,
So I think it still has to go through the same process.
okay.
I don't know what the complete ordinance, I can't remember, for the school. The main ordinance, or the main language said it was to establish the school budget, which the authority, and then there was agreement to establish the reserve accounts, which meant that we were gonna collect more tax dollars to create those accounts. But it was a subsection of the main ordinance.
Yeah, the council order, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
there used to be
order.
one of the council orders was to allow you to do that, and that was left out of this one, that's what you mean?
well, what
All
I
of them. It
found
wasn't.
when I looked it up, it looks like there was one to expend grants. And then we did a separate order for, I had it pinned. And then we did separate orders for the establishment
Is that in
of.
June?
Okay.
June?
So just have to remember, next year, there should be a separate order to expend reserves.
Yes, and so when we did it, Carolyn did a training, she got the language moving forward we could use that will establish and give
Yeah.
the right to spend. I have sample council orders to give us authorization to expend, so I can just talk to Tony and Glenn and send those.
And it should be to expend all your reserves.
This one
Not,
is,
because if you put establish and expend, it's only gonna mean the ones that you establish. This should be
For that
just.
current
For
year.
that current year. There should be one council order that just, it's a general
to expend.
to expend reserves.
Okay, because the council orders we drafted were for each of the 4 specific reserves we have currently. But you think just do one that gives us authorization to expend? Okay.
It's
Okay.
really that simple,
Okay,
to expend your reserves.
great.
And if needed, we can always call a special meeting if you needed to expend it before the
Yeah.
18th.
We seem to have them a lot.
Yeah, a lot going on.
These meetings are long. They're long. The
Our
council meetings.
council
Yeah,
meetings are way too
Ours have
long.
gotten long too. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
won't tie up any more of your time.
Timmy.
Yes.
I'll answer your question or your comment.
I'm trying really hard to hear what you're saying.
I'm sitting beside him and I didn't hear it, so.
Sorry,
It's okay.
For expending reserves, okay. All right.
Come on over here, Dale, there's no microphone.
You ready for me?
Yes, we are, finance, thank you.
Okay, so, as I said before, I've been spending most of my time lately on Public Works because I need to get all of the projects and funding and organization to that aspect of our operations, because we don't have it right now. And we don't have anyone that I know of coming into that position. So I'm also getting close to some grant billing, so I'm really happy about that, because one of them is Water Street, which is a big one, and the other one is gonna be High Street. So that's gonna be nice to get all
That's
of
a lot
our.
of money.
Yeah, it's about $1.5 million.
Yeah.
And then I've been working on, I'm sure you remember this, that Lisa, one of the last things that Lisa did before she left was accept some SRF funding for all of these projects coming up, and it's a really good package. It's like 1%. It's $8 million at 1%. And so I've been quickly learning that process, what I need to do, what I need to have. So I've been working with Brent from Woodard and Curran, and I've been working with Brandy Pierce and Cam Clark and Kelly, and of course Jim Safian, to get all those pieces put together and get those filings done, because that's such a better opportunity than trying to bond something. You know, I mean, it's basically like a grant at 1%.
Right.
So it's, you know, not even keeping up with inflation. So that's what I've been working on, and then putting together files so that whoever's going to be having those meetings, I think some of them will be me, because I've been working with Brent since Lisa was here, just to stay on top of all of what's going on with each one of those projects. And then I have all the guys from the different departments helping me out with it. But
Awesome.
none of them are going to be doing that administrative piece. They don't have time and they don't know how. So that's what I've been doing. We've been working on the audit, of course. That's that's basically what May does. She's the audit maven. The other thing that I've been doing is trying to get organized on all of our Fed funds receipts for the last couple of years, because things weren't deposited into the bank, into the right accounts. It was like miscellaneous income for everything. So I'm having to go on to the different Fed fund sites, figure out what they're showing that we have, and then going back and finding it in our accounts. So that's one project.
They just put it under miscellaneous income.
And so, because first of all, for '22, I just didn't have the stuff for CFA, for them to file CFA. I had it from the police, because Chad keeps it really organized. Fire didn't use it. Lisa said she didn't spend Fed funds fiscal year '22, so I just confirmed that by going through, it's part of why I'm going through her projects, just to
Yeah.
make sure, because we don't want to get in trouble with that filing, because that affects every department at City Hall. So I've been working on that, and then also for '23, because in '23 we do have Fed funds, and we do meet the threshold for the filing of that report. So I've been doing that. And then still working on my capital asset planning and my long-term financial plan. Catch as catch can until I get this other thing finished, because I really want, I'm fairly certain I'll be able to file for NBRC before the October deadline for the report. So that would be great to just close that out,
Mhm.
because the filing requirements are kind of, you have to file them all the time.
Does ARPA funding fall under the federal funds? So that
Yeah.
was extended?
Right. The threshold is 750,000.
Oh,
So,
in total or each?
yeah, that's when you have to file that.
So the school hits that every year, so that's why we've always had to
Yeah,
file it
I'd say,
anyways.
I'm looking for the city, I
Mhm.
don't know what the school does, but that's what I told, that's what Ron said. He goes, find me everything that you can, and I'm like, okay. So I went to all the different public safety departments and got what I needed from the police. So the only thing that was left was just confirming Public Works, and Fire said they didn't have anything, and Glenn didn't know of anything. So other than ARPA, and I haven't been able to find it, and I've gone on to, you know, the USA Spend, it's part of sam.gov,
Yep.
to see what they show. And so I'm reasonably certain that I've got what I need, but now I'm going to go into 23 and start that, because we're going straight into 23 audit as soon as 22 is done. So it continues to be super exciting and fun.
And so what do you do in your spare time? Or how do you spend the rest of your day?
No, I have the bit between my teeth now, so I'm determined to get through this before May has a nervous breakdown.
She's doing okay.
Yeah. I send her away from time to time because she's stressed. But I think right now she's pretty good. I think Ron told me they're in their Hail Mary, they're going for it. And he's like, expect my bill. I'm like, I'll get to you after taxes. Oh, and that's the other thing. I did all my prep for Larry, so hopefully the word on the street is Monday. We're pretty
Okay.
much staying on him, like,
Yeah.
I'm trying not to take money off that tan. It's really, really something I'd rather not do. And I think if we have to, I'd like to pay it back before we accrue a lot of interest.
Based on the help that I was providing May yesterday, I don't think you will need to.
I don't think so, but
At
you
all.
never know, like, especially if the school doesn't get it. If for anything happens, I know it's there, but no, I'm trying not to. I'm famous for managing my no money, for managing no money. So, yeah, I don't think we will, but I'm gonna make sure I do everything that I can to not do it. And to be really careful about how we're spending things, because we don't know with the school. And their payrolls are massive.
Yeah.
I mean, their bi-weekly payrolls are quarterly payroll.
Right.
So. But I think we'll be all right.
We've been pretty low in August before.
I figured. I mean, it makes
I-
sense.
Based on that.
I know, I've had to give the lecture, the talk of, but it's in the budget. And I'm like, yeah, but your budget is based on 24 taxes. The tax bills haven't gone out. Chicken, egg.
Cash flow.
Yeah. You understand what that means when I say cash flow, but you gotta kind of spell it out sometimes. Like, they're not conscious of, or maybe not thinking about it.
Right.
I'm like,
That's why
just
they're
wait.
not accountants or finance.
Yeah,
people.
exactly. And other than that, excellent decision. I know I should have been an electrician. That's what I've come to at the end of my life. That would have been perfect.
All right. Do we have
That's it
anything
for
else?
me.
Do you have anything?
And then, oh, and we're gonna have to deal with the cemetery thing, so we're like in limbo with it. They're refusing to help. The last surviving person is saying, nope, nope, she won't even do anything. I mean, like, she won't even talk. She hangs up on us if we call her, so,
I told Ann to bring it here next week.
yeah.
Yeah.
So think about it
Discuss it
for the next week.
Do you have anything, Mark? Questions, concerns, answers?
Mark's gonna help me with this dreaded cemetery problem.
All right, then we'll close the meeting.